Hello, welcome. It's me, Simon, back again for another review. This time we're reviewing a book. This book is The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. That's how you think you say his name. Anyway, this is my third book of his that I've read recently in the past couple of years. I recently discovered him. The first book I read of his was The Humans. Highly recommend that book. It's a really, really good book. It's about an alien comes to Earth and discovers humans aren't all that bad. Highly recommend that book. And then obviously he did The Midnight Library as well. That book, I know, was quite controversial. And to me, I think it's one of the best books I've ever read. So I think right off the bat, he has a very good kind of track record with his books. So this book came out in September 2024. It is his newest book. I only finished it recently. I was late getting around to it. It's now February 2025. So just want to have to talk about it for a little bit, see what you guys think as well, give some opinions on it, and we'll take it from there. I will be making a video as well of books that changed my life, and I feel like The Midnight Library will definitely be in there, so check that one out. Could be interesting. It'll be a little bit emotional as well, so hopefully it'll be worth it. So basically the premise of this book is it involves a woman from England in her 70s. Her name is Grace. She's not having a good time. Her husband passed away a couple of years ago. Her son died when he was a teenager, and she blames herself for that, basically. Essentially, he went to go ride his bike in the rain. He got hit by a car when she felt she should have brought him to drive him where they were meant to go. She's been dealing with that grief her entire life, and her husband just passed away, so she's not having a great time. And she feels kind of like fed up with life, but then she gets a message one day being told that she's been left a house in the Spanish island of Ibiza. Ibiza, however you want to say it. We're getting the point across here anyway. So she inherits a house in Ibiza, and she's like, why was this house left to me? It was left by a woman who used to be her friend a long, long time ago, who she only hasn't spoken to in a really long time. So she's like, this is quite odd. She has nothing going on for her here. She lives in a tiny bungalow in England. So she's like, why not? Let's go to Ibiza. Let's see what this is all about. An island that's known for partying, but she goes there anyway to see what's going on. She finds the house. It's dilapidated. It's run down. And she sees pictures of her friends there as well. And then she sees a man in a picture with Christina, who she finds working at a scuba diving school. And she finds him, and his name's Alberto. He's one of your main characters in the story as well. I don't want to delve on the story too much. Kind of I feel like the best part is the first half of the book, her kind of getting to Ibiza, finding out what's going on. It's a pretty good length as well. It's just over 300 pages long, which I find 300 pages to be a sweet spot with a book. I feel like you can definitely bang it out in a couple of days, or even if you have a full day off, depending on your schedule and your availability, obviously, you can definitely get a lot of the book finished in a couple of days. So 300 pages I find great. The chapters are really, really short as well. Some chapters are only half a page, some chapters are a page and a half, and what I really like about this author, and I think he does this for all his books, correct me if I'm wrong, he names every single chapter. He doesn't just do number one, chapter 2, so on and so forth. He actually gives every single chapter a name. It really makes it feel like he kind of constructed this chapter with like care in mind, if that makes sense. Like he is really kind of taking this, giving each chapter its own story and its own title. I just feel like that's a nice touch an author can do that gives it kind of more personal touch to the story. What else about it as well? Well, other characters, yeah. I feel like the main themes of this book as well is about grief, with Grace getting over the trauma from her son passing away, her moving on with her husband and her son life. It is a kind of a fresh start for her moving to Ibiza and this house. Then, halfway through the story, I didn't know anything about this going in. It's not in the synopsis if you were to read it online. The story, like a lot of his other books, well, the ones I've read anyway, it does quite get fantastical, supernatural elements come into the story as well, which kind of took me by surprise. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I guess we're doing this then. And it does work for me in a certain sense. It is quite good. Like, there's telekinesis involved, there's superpowers essentially, and yeah, so there is a villain in the story as well. Actually, like the whole second half of the book is basically about a property developer comes into Ibiza to try and kind of destroy some of the land to build hotels, and that's kind of the whole point of the second half of the book, is them kind of dealing with this And then there's also supernatural elements to it, so I don't want to kind of delve on it too much, right? Otherwise I'm just going to be spoiling the entire book here. So if that does sound like your thing, then I would recommend the book. It is a really good book. What else as well do I have to say about it? I did like the first half of the book a lot more than the second half. The first half, again, as I said, Grace moving to Ireland. Why is this happening? Her kind of trying to deal with life and move on as well. The side characters are really good as well. You have Alberto, who's a good friend of Christina, as I said, who she knows from being in pictures in her new house. They're kind of like buddies for the whole book as well. His daughter Martha comes in the story as well. The villain, I guess, is pretty good as well. So yeah, I would highly recommend the book. I feel like it's not the best of his books I've read, but again, to me, The Midnight Library is one of the best books I've read in the last couple of years. I love that book so much. As someone who's dealt with a lot of mental health problems as well, as has the author of this book, I feel like it's a really good book. This, not as good though. Still pretty good. I'll give it on my Goodreads, I guess, solid 4 out of 5 stars. To me, it's still good, but it's not just incredible. To me, like almost a 3 out of 5 is bad. 4 is like, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. So yeah, again, if you like his stuff and looking for a kind of nice story about hope and moving on from your grief and just nice fun island adventure, then I would highly recommend it. So what's next for me reading that I'm going to review next? So I just started A Feast for Crows, which is the 4th Song of Ice and Fire book. I've been slowly making my way through that series. Ideally, I want that series dealt with by this year, the end of 2025 at least as well. Hopefully by the summertime, I feel like I'll have them all finished. And then The Wheel of Time is not my next giant book series. I really want to get stuck into that. The show I love. I know how popular the book series is as well, all over booktube, but 14 books is gonna be a lot. I just feel like I finished Lord of the Rings in 2023, gonna finish A Song of Ice and Fire in 2025, and then try to get into The Wheel of Time as well. So yeah, as for my Goodreads reading challenge, I'm already on 9 books out of 24 for the year, which I think is pretty quick for me. I know some people read like 100 books in a year. With work and stuff as well, I find that kind of quite difficult to do. 2023, I only read, I think, 6 books. That was a rough year for me. But then 2024, I read 20. So this year I'm going to hit 24 books as well. So yeah, that's my plan. Hopefully you'll be along for the ride as well. If you read this book, if you liked it, please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. This is a very brand new channel, so I'm trying to get off my feet. But you gotta stay consistent with it, and I'll keep at it as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. Highly recommend this book. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.